Mike, we know you had a meeting with EHAB earlier in the week. What did you discuss in that meeting, and where are we at with your long-term future?
Well, the discussion really needs to stay a little bit private, because we discussed going forward, how the club's going to move on, what players, obviously, what targets. We have had targets on a list for a long time. Some of them now have all moved on, so we had to sort of readdress that and have a look at potential signings and newcomers into this football club.
What about beyond that?
Well, beyond that is all purely down to the powers. You know, it's all about the ownership, about the owners, and I'm just looking forward to the game. We've prepared well. We've tried pre-season to keep everything ticking over nicely. There has been disruptions, but I think these players have earned the right to play in the Premiership.
You mentioned the ownership there. Is that likely to change in the near future, and does that impact on signings and on your future?
I would think, looking ahead, speculation about new owners has been there for a long time. You know, it's not just over the last couple of days. It's been there since January, probably, of this year. So I have to leave that with them. They will make their decisions and what have you. As far as my future goes, that probably will be a further discussion regarding whatever happens later on.
What is the latest on possible signings?
At the moment, it's all purely, picking up the phone, speaking to people, trying to find the targets, new targets, because people we went for and players we went for earlier in the pre-season have now moved on and gone to other clubs. So we have to start again. I know it's a short window now. It seems to be getting shorter and shorter day by day, but the pressure is on now to do some business.
Is it possible to compete in the Premier League with the squad you have, especially when you consider the tough start that you've got?
I would say no, simply because of the injuries, and the injuries are not short term. Most of them are long term, or longer term than we expected. Harry Maguire is probably the only one who could probably come back in the short term. So it's a small squad, but small squads before have worked well together. But there definitely needs to be additions to this football club.
We saw last season with Leicester what they achieved with a real bond with the players, a real unity in there. Is that something that you're hoping, out of all this adversity, that you might get from the senior group that you've got?
Well, yeah, the players that are here and are fit and ready to play have earned the right to be in the Premiership. You know, they performed extremely well last year, and it's not that long ago. You know, we were celebrating at Wembley, having performed magnificently. Now we're in a position where nothing has changed, nothing has moved on, but we're into what is arguably the best division in the football calendar. So we've got to perform. We've got to turn up and perform, and I'm sure the players will do that for themselves, for the club, and for the supporters.
You've vastly experienced as a number two. Have you had any advice over the last few weeks? Has Sir Alex been on the phone?
You can get advice from everywhere. You get advice from the media now. You get advice from family. You get advice from the people who you've worked with. Yeah, I wouldn't turn down advice, but there comes a time when you just got to think for yourself. You've got to do what you feel is right, and this moment has come for me to pick the team. It's not the hardest team in the world to pick right now, but those players I know will give it their best, and I'm sure they'll perform.
Do you feel you're the right man to take this club forward?
I feel as though I'm ready for management. I've been an assistant for quite a while now. You know, I've been in the lower divisions, I've been in the higher divisions, so I have got the experience, and it's just a case now of everything in the background being sorted out as to what they want to do going forward, and I'm sure we'll have further conversations about that.
And last one from me, on the rule changes for the new season, the big thing around things like dissent, is it something that you've had to talk to the players about and brief them about, and do you think it'll improve?
Yeah, we've had all the meetings, we've sat down, they've all been discussed, the players have sort of exercised their right to ask questions, and I think it's pretty clear now is for everybody, not just Hull, it's everybody who's the consistency now in delivering those things, you know, and I think once that's done, everybody knows where they're at, and the players all over the country now are just waiting to get started.
What are your emotions at the moment, Mike, after the summer that's gone past?
Right now, I'm quite confident, quite happy. You know, I've just been put in charge for pre-season, in charge for this game. So, you know, when I look back, nothing from my staff from this end has been done wrong. You know, we've done everything that's been asked of us. So we just need now that bit of support, that help, and also the players need that little bit of support and help. So I'm confident in what we are doing, and we just want to get going. We want to get started.
How are the players feeling?
I think they're okay. I think they're good. You know, the players are aware of most things. There's no point in keeping things from them simply because it's all out there. You know, it's not hard to find something out there when you know that you've 13 fit senior players and the rest are under 21s for the first game of a Premiership season. It's not ideal. I don't think it's ever been a caretaker manager in charge for the first game of a Premiership season, but that's the way it has happened at this football club.
What would your message be to the supporters tomorrow? I mean, some are coming to protest. What would your message be to them?
Well, I can't alter anything that goes on outside of the football pitch, you know, and the training ground, and we've tried to keep ourselves insulated a little bit. Obviously, if there is demonstrations, then they'll conduct them the best way possible. After that, if they're in the stadium, let's enjoy the football and let's get behind the players that are at this football club and are willing to participate in playing for Hull.
Have you ever experienced anything quite like this, Mike?
No. That's a short answer, but no, there have been difficulties in certain times in my career with other football clubs when I've been an assistant manager, but certainly it's been pretty consistent at the last club I was at Manchester United. Norwich was a little bit turbulent at times, but it seems to be the nature of the game at the moment. You know, we play, we train, we work hard, and sometimes a lot of things go on in the background that are beyond your control. So we just get on with it.
You touched on the fact that you feel you're ready for management. Do you want the job? Is your name in the frame?
Well, my name was in the frame right from the start, but they've interviewed other managers as well. Those deals haven't happened, so I'm still here, and that was the point of the conversation I had. You know, I stayed, I wanted to work with the players, and I was given that opportunity to prepare them for the pre-season and prepare them for the first game of the season. I cannot look beyond that. That's another discussion.
And what about the prospects of facing Leicester? Champions, first game?
Well, it gives us all hope, simply because Leicester have been magnificent. You know, I think it was a breath of fresh air that a team like Leicester took on the Premiership and won it. And they won it in the way that they do their work, which was good. Good team spirit, good togetherness, willing to work hard, and they took on the so-called big boys and took them on and played their game, and it was great. So it gives us all the opportunity now to be committed, to have a look at it, to have a go, and I think the Premiership will be a seriously hard one this year.